of Section 204D is precisely you can't just take it away from the owners. It does belong to the owners, and that's why you need to have a surrender and re-alienation. I do understand that yes, we cannot go to the crust of the earth. That's true, but because these are very old pieces of land, that's why when the National Land Code was amended, any land that was alienated before is not affected by the amendment that was made, particularly in Section 204D. And that is precisely the reason why the owners now are asked to surrender, and then you will re-alienate the land minus that bit that will go in for the railway corridor. Thank you.
But as I said, the land below, 300 feet below, that's not yours. That is something which you enjoy. Huh?
You won't go there either.
Yeah, no, exactly. But this thing is how many meters? 30 meters?
No,
huh?
it's about 100 meters.
100 meters, that's more than 300 feet. Don't tell me everything that belongs to you. So it is only, you must understand that we do this because we want to avoid any feeling. But to say that all those things belong to you, that's not true. I do know that certain depth belongs to the owner, not below
26 meters.
Okay, but anyway, we will discuss this. So I think from my observation of this meeting, there is only one question that is raised, which needs to be addressed, and that's yours. Because you wanted to know how the 29 new under the, if we change realign, it's going to affect 29 shop owners or shop lot. I think you want to know how it comes out. So if you let me have
we can, yes, we can sit down and go through it with you, yeah, and explain it.
I think there's only one.
Yeah.
The rest, I think we are quite agreeable. Go ahead with the unit.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to give a last question. Okay, I'm representing the Yang Gang, so we are together. So, a bit confused with the process of since MRT happened in July, is it? July, and then the people come to measure the land and say that they want to acquire the land. So, and then got people feedback, and then I think Ilis Jara is one of the people give me a feedback why they want to acquire the land. Because of two reasons. One reason because by collecting the MRT ticket, it couldn't afford to pay for the project. Okay, this is the first thing. So second thing is about the not safe of the building. He say that I think you all understand better than me. You can go back to check the file. What is Jara say? And then Marcus, may I know when you started involved in the project?
I first came to KL.
Barcelona, is it? Or?
I was in 2nd of August of last year.
2nd August.
Yeah.
So I think during
Barcelona.
the Barcelona. So I would like to know, because why after the owner making noise, make a lot of noise, and then suddenly MRT call is built. I mean, you set up a company, and suddenly everything will change. Say no, acquire the land and all thing, and the building will safe. It's make the people confused. So it's my question: why the thing can flip-flop, and also who are the people give the Ilis Jara the advice? And another thing also, because you say you haven't gone into the building to do a lot of checking and other thing. So how is your presentation can say that it's safe? Of course, you said not say guarantee safe, but how can you sure because you haven't gone through everything?
But let me just say, Adam, I joined when I joined. You're right. There were statements made. I mean, Dato has mentioned it. There were statements made that were physically wrong. I remember a statement being made that Jalan Sultan was caustic limestone, and there's going to be settlement and things like that. It is not caustic limestone. It was a wrong statement. There was at that time the view was the buildings will be taken and demolished. And I remember asking, why are we demolishing buildings that don't need to be demolished? So it's you know, in a sense, it's a process of going through, as you know, say, sort of people with experience are coming, then you can look at issues and take it. But that was the view at the time. We buy the land, we demolish the building. Not even leave the building up, we demolish the building. But why are we demolishing buildings that don't need to be demolished? Going back to the other thing, how can I make statements? What you do is you're doing the assessment in a sense of the amount of settlement on the property that you're going to get in the ground. And then when you identify in a sense the depth and the size of the trough, then you say if there was a building there, this is the type of hogging it would have to take or the strain it would have to take. And therefore you assume the building is of good quality and therefore this is the amount of damage. What I'm saying is that's what I'm assuming, but I can't guarantee the building is of good quality. So let me go in and have a look and then I will tell you, do we have a problem?
Yeah, so you can see that you also answered that it's unsure thing. Why we already started seeing the newspaper republicize that the building will safe and everything. Is it?
So yeah, the building,
because the newspaper already come up with the advertisement say that the building are safe and everything. Why this come up before you say you are going in to do the project? And another thing I want to ask, I think I quite not satisfied with the first question answer, because I think that this is a very big project and using public money, but maybe company MRT call say that it's a private money or what. But it's a big project. How come very easily to say and also change? You know, first they'll say this and second they'll say that, because it will make the public very confused. I think this is my question. Yeah,
accept that. But I can't correct people who make the wrong statements. But as I said, I know statements were made, and that was the. But as Dato has said, as we come on, we've looked to see, do we need to, you know, land acquisition was where we were going to go. But do we need to do land acquisition? No. As long as there's an agreement that we can put the tunnel underneath, we don't need to. And then, you know, when this is Kenny Hills, this is good ground. You see it in many areas. You see in many areas the excavation standing up full height, and it's a good tunnel.
Why everything not performed yet, or is speak in the public? I think this is my question.
Going back to the buildings. Sorry, go. Sorry.
I think I hear where you're coming from. I can understand how you feel. First, let me say this. Prior to MRT Corporation coming along, there were a lot of statements being made on behalf of the developer and the government, and also statements made by the public. A lot of them were inaccurate. Okay? Because not a lot of information was available. A lot of people, when they don't have information, they create their own picture. Okay, and that's human nature. Okay, but now what we try to do is we try to disseminate as much information as possible. Now, at the point when MRT Corporation came along, even when I was appointed CEO of MRT Corporation, and the first two EXCO meetings, we have an EXCO meeting to discuss the project. The first two, it was still compulsory acquisition. We must compulsory acquire. And because I came from the commercial, I have a commercial background, I come from industry. To us, law is always the last resort. We must first talk first, then use law as a last resort. So basically that was what MRT Corporation pushed. And that's why this idea of having a mutual agreement to discuss happened. But the process of compulsory acquisition already started. So that's why there were a lot of confusion. And along the way we try to clarify. But sometimes when we clarify, we are made to be liars. Say, oh, before it was to us, before it was an inaccurate statement. But what we're trying to do now, we're trying to be as transparent as possible and tell people this is how we want to do it. But every time I say I don't want to acquire, a statement will come out and say, see, letter to acquire my land came out already. But I keep on explaining, this is a separate government process, nothing to do with MRT Corporation. So a lot of conflicting story. That's why I think you're right in what you're saying. There's a lot of confusion out there. So along the way, we will have to try to eliminate. And I think a platform like this is good to clarify. With YB's help, we will try to make sure that the right information goes out there. I mean, don't be too hard on Marcus. Marcus is trying to tell you that you don't have to move if you don't want to. It is safe. Okay? Actually, when we talk about tunneling per se, if you don't consider the building, it is safe. But because we know the building is old, there are a lot of old buildings there, he wants to be sure. Okay? He wants to be sure so that there is no risk. We want to try to eliminate risk. So, you know, let's stick to that. Don't forget the old story. Try to forget the story.
Actually, the statement already in the newspaper.
It's okay lah.
Everyone also like that.
It's okay lah.
Do you
Because
think that before MRT call coming is not didn't transparent in the company, or I mean, then is it project or what? Because you say that when a company MRT call come in, everything become transparent.
yeah, I think because of all the confusion, that's why I must also thank the NGOs that came forward, because the confusion caused the public were confused, and the NGOs came to see me, came to see Tikiat, and then we call on the PM and meeting PM. All these are processed to avoid the confusion. So I think if we talk about, if we discuss confusion and don't want to resolve, I think that's not good. Because of the confusion we are here today, and what is important is that whatever we decide today is the final decision. Because I am here, and then the Prime Minister also is in the know. We are the authority, and we can move and do things to avoid all this confusion. So I think the best thing is that let's look forward. Okay, what's in the past is the past already. We try to clear the air as much as possible, and we want to move ahead. Yeah, because I don't think discussing what's happened in the past will help us in moving ahead. I admit that there was confusion, and because of that I'm here today. Yeah, otherwise, I won't be here today. And the Prime Minister, I say clearly, no acquisition, yeah, no demolition, and if the owners agree, we can make it, heritage area. If they don't, also we are not in a hurry. And then we want as much as possible that to avoid any difficulties faced by the owners, and we'll try to give within our human means, able to do to give, and that is a promise. And you are actually talking directly to the authorities. Yeah? So please be comfortable. There is not even one instance that the government wants to do something which will hurt the owners. We only want to do, it is a stupid government to do things to hurt the people. We will never do that. That's why I think this is a process of engagement and consultation. We hear your grouses, and we'll find the best way how to resolve this. Okay. Thank you. All right. Only you have to talk.
We'll arrange something.
About the 29.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think we can call the next group. Right? Thank you so much. Yeah, certainly. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Otherwise, I would have to record the letter. Thank you.